might be looking at a future UFC heavyweight champion.
This is by far the biggest fight in my career. I'm coming off a massive injury. I've completely rebuilt myself physically and mentally, and I'm ready to show everyone that this is a completely different me now.
He's done it! Tom Aspinall!
July 22nd at the O2 Arena is going to be a special night. My confidence is just at a whole new level that it's never been before because I'm working with everything now. I'm going to come on and put on the best performance that I've ever done in my career.
It's finally here. Fight day for UFC London. It might be cold and miserable outside, wet and drizzly, but I tell you what, we are getting the heat inside this octagon very, very shortly. I'm Adam Catterall. It is a pleasure to be in your company for UFC London here on TNT Sports, a celebration of British mixed martial arts. Some of the very best athletes in the world going to be in the octagon very shortly for your entertainment. 15 fights to get through, so make sure you stick with us. First one coming up at around about 5 p.m. Always a pleasure to be in the company of Nick Peet and Caroline Pearce for this epic show. It's really started to ramp up over the last 24 hours, and it's always good to be around the fans and feel their energy.
It really is. I love it when the UFC comes to London. You cannot beat the UK fans, and the card is stacked from top to bottom with UK and Irish talent, and you'll see in a few moments that the stands will be packed from the beginning, which isn't always the case in some of the international events.
Well, listen, Nick Peet's been signing autographs outside, haven't you, pal? Spotted on the way in, people having selfies and all sorts. Everybody's in a good mood, ready for some action.
I just want to know what they're going to do with these selfies. That's my big fear, because I don't think they put it on their own social media. But no, the energy outside is fantastic. People realise that, when the UFC comes to town, we used to be once, now we get it twice a year only, and you've got to grab it, appreciate it and enjoy it. One thing we know for sure, the athletes will deliver. They deliver every time.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at those athletes, shall we? Because as I said, 15 fights to get through. Early prelims will get kicking off just after 5 p.m, of course, starting with a man that had a real back and forth with Mokayev back in March here at UFC London. Jafel Filho back in action against UFC debutant Daniel Barez. We've got a debut there as well for Shauna Bannon. She's been lighting up the Fighter Hotel throughout the course of the week, and she's looking forward to lighting up this octagon too. Chris Duncan is in a fight with a guy that silenced this crowd back in March, Jamal Ashmouz. It should be an absolute ding-dong of a fight on the early prelims. Then we're going to speed you towards the prelims, because we've got fight after fight after fight after fight. I told you there was a lot of them. Big contender fight there between Ketlen Vieira and Pani Kianzad. That'll kick off your prelims, and as you can see, for the first time since 2016, great to see Davy Grant back on British soil in the featured prelim bout against Daniel Marquez. That should be an absolute cracker too. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll speed you in to the main card. Lerone Murphy taking on Josh Culibao. Do not miss that. It's my low-key fight of the night tip, all right? As you can see, loads to get stuck into there, including Paul Craig's debut at middleweight. We've got Molly McCann in the co-main event against Julia Stoliarenko, and then he's back. There you go, you can see it. The main event tonight in the heavyweight division, Tom Aspinall taking on Marcin Tybura. Big ramifications for that heavyweight division. The winner obviously propelling themselves forward in the top 5, and who knows, might get on for a little bit of a call out as well for the winner of something that might be happening at Madison Square Garden a little later on in the year. Can you tell in my voice that I'm a little bit excited?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Hopefully you're excited as well at home, because we've got some great fights to get stuck into. Let's talk about the main event. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Because it's been just over a year. We've been waiting for him to come back, Tom Aspinall. He is back obviously tonight, and he's back 2.0. There's a new attitude about the big man.
Yeah, he's charged up. He's had the time away. He's had time to address his training camp, time to fix a couple of other niggles as well. But listen, we know what Tom Aspinall's all about. We've been eyeing him for so long now. He's so fast, he's so quick. Now that's former champion Andrei Arlovsky, there's Sergei Spivak, who fights in Paris next month. These are big names that he's running through, and he's running through them in one round. Only one opponent so far in the UFC has managed to get into round 2 with Tom Aspinall. He is a finishing machine. What happened a year ago was dramatic. It was painful. It forced him to go away. But you know what? It could be the making of the man.
Absolutely. And this week, you could just tell the mental shift with Tom, can't you? That he's now not apologetic for being as good as he is. He's taking it serious. He wants to put on a big display tonight. And if he does put on a big display, I'm kind of anticipating something big on the microphone as well.
Me too, and we've been talking all week amongst ourselves saying how Tom could potentially be in line for a title shot after Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. I mean, and he's talking about that himself now. He's gone, like you said, from being apologetic, I want to take it slow. Now he is here, he's talking about Jon Jones. He wants to put on a show. He said the rankings don't necessarily matter. He's number 5, but with a really fast finish, he's never gone past 2 rounds. There's a good chance we see him call out for the winner of Jones and Stipe.
The guy that's standing across from him, though, he's in great form. He's won 7 of his last 8 as marching Tybura. He had a little bit of a wobble between 2019 and 2020 when he lost 4 out of 5, but the mental shift has absolutely gone now, and he is coming knowing full well a victory tonight puts him in a real good spot in this heavyweight division.
Yeah, and listen, he's 37 years of age, so we can't afford to wait anymore. And, you know, the images we're seeing there, look how heavy he is. When you see him come and walk to the octagon tonight, he's nowhere near that shape. He's in tremendous shape because he knows. Listen, for everything we just said about Tom, big win tonight, big performance, he's 1 step away from a title shot. Marcin Tybura can take all that away from Tom and take it for himself. He's here to win.
Normally, we get a little bit of nastiness between fighters. Obviously, a lot of smack talk. None of that between these 2 heavyweights. Yesterday at the weigh-ins, they had a little bit of a Josh and a Jape, didn't they? But in the end, they finished with an embrace, cuddled each other, and said, "Listen, may the best man win."
Exactly, and look, Tom was bouncing around. I think he was ready to go yesterday, to be honest. And I think Marcin actually said to him at one point, "All right, calm down." But Tom spoke to us afterwards, and he said, "You know what?" He said, "I really like the guy. We have a personal relationship. You know, it is all business. So there's no animosity between the 2 of them. But they'll certainly be out here to put on a show."
Even speaking a little bit of Polish between each other this week as well. Fantastic to see. Listen, it's all friendly now. Won't be friendly when that cage door shuts a little later on, let me tell you. Co-main event, that's where the party gets going, doesn't it? Well, hopefully the party gets going a little bit before it, but you know that the party's going to go up a level when Meatball Molly McCann makes a walk once again here in London.
Yeah, it's like when a DJ's doing a DJ set and he saves his best banger for right near the end. That's Molly McCann, and she will come out to a cacophony of noise here. Her house music will just light the place up. And listen, how does Molly fight? She's explosive. She's all action. There's a reason why she's a fan favourite, because she's not afraid to let her hands go. She's not afraid to let her elbows go either. Last year, she had 2, not 1, but 2 knockout of the year candidates here inside the O2. 2 back-to-back spinning elbows. There's the first one coming up shortly. Look at that salvo, 12, 13 punches. The fight at this place absolutely rocking, and that was the finish. And then this was just a couple of months later, boom, another spinning elbow. That's what she brings, and that's what fans want to see. You know, these fans want to see excitement. They want to see knockouts, submissions, finishes, and that's what Molly McCann brings every time.
She is coming off the back of a loss, though.
Yep.
There were 2 great performances here on home soil. Went to Madison Square Garden, came up short against Erin Blanchfield. You saw her right in the immediate aftermath of that. It's a big test for her tonight. A lot of pressure on her shoulders to get back in the win column.
Yeah, but she said she's taken that pressure off herself. After those 2 spinning elbows, she was coming out here going, "I've got to put on a show for the crowd." She said after what happened at MSG, she's let go of that. You know, she's been very calm this week. It's been a completely different Molly, other than when she stepped on the scales at weigh-ins yesterday and heard the pop of the crowd. But she has said that she'd like to get a submission against a submission artist. So again, she's probably got something to prove to herself, but she's not putting that pressure on herself this time.
I'm tipping an elbow. That's what she's going to be throwing. Straight out the gate, tipping an elbow. The girl that she's facing, though, is a submission queen. 10 victories via submission. Sorry, 9 of them via submission of the 10 victories that she's got. She knows exactly what she wants to do, and that's the danger.
Well, the other danger is she's massive, because this is a girl that's used to competing up at 145 pounds. Just last October, she was 140. Obviously, this fight is down at 125, and okay, she might have had a tough wake up, but this is what she brings. She's big, she's long, she looks for arm bars, and now it was a submission where Molly lost last time out as well. So stylistically, this isn't the ideal opponent for Molly, but listen, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's what I say.
You can tell my man with the Scouse accent, you know who he's going to be back in a little bit later on. Listen, it's a celebration of British and Irish mixed martial arts here. We've got some of the very best athletes that are going to be throwing down, not just obviously in the main and co-main, but right across the board as well. It's been a real good atmosphere in the Fighter Hotel throughout the course of the week, hasn't it?
It really has. And do you know what? We've got a mixture of fighters that are making the UFC debut through to those like Tom that are putting themselves in a position for title contention. But when we're in and around that Fighter Hotel, it's really good to see that camaraderie. You know, you see Paddy and Molly just sitting on the sofas in there, and there was Stoliarenko just opposite her, and she was saying to me, she was like, yeah, she's game. She's a big girl, but she's game. So all those dynamics that go on behind the scenes before they get in the cage are all part of the game.
Hopefully we've got you as giddy as we are right now, because this is going to be an absolute special event. Make sure you do not go anywhere, because we're going to be bringing you the first fight next on TNT Sports. Welcome back to the O2 Arena here for UFC London. We've got a cracking night of action lined up for you on TNT Sports tonight, and there's even more excitement to come from the boxing world next Saturday night, where Errol Spence Jr. takes on Terence Crawford live from Las Vegas from midnight, exclusively on TNT Sports Box Office. For further information and T's and C's, go to tntsports.co.uk/box office. Now then, let's get into it, shall we? We've got a cracking fight lined up for you here. A guy that absolutely gave us a back and forth in March. Jafel Filho's back in action. He nearly took Momokeyev's knee, but no, Momokeyev wasn't for tapping on that particular night. And he is taking on the UFC debutant tonight in Daniel Barez.
Yeah, Barez being one of two Spaniards making their debuts on this card tonight. Very talented fighter, but I respect Filho, man. He's come from a very good gym in Novo União in Brazil, one of the most famous gyms in the world. This was in Dana White's Contender Series. Third round knockout, which led to us getting his UFC chance here in March. And you know what? I respect the guy, because he's coming back to where it all went wrong for him. He was here, he lost, and he's like, you know what? Get me back to London. I want to get in the win column.
It was nearly so right, though, wasn't it? What did you make of the face-off yesterday between these two? They seemed quite friendly.
I think it was pretty respectful and pretty friendly. Obviously, Filho's looking for his first win in the UFC up against Barez, that's making his debut here in the UFC. And I think the Spanish are really having a moment in the UFC at the moment. Obviously, Ilia Topuria is really leading the way for Spaniards. We might have a UFC Spain at some point, but I think it's pretty respectful. They just want to both get in there and get a win in the UFC.
Got Joel Alvarez coming a little bit later on as well, and he's on a little bit of a streak as well. Oh my days, Spanish MMA's flying.
UFC Ibiza, anyone? Sign me up for that.
Listen, you're getting ahead of yourself, you. All right, it's UFC London tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a cracking night lined up for you, so let's get to it, shall we? First fight of the night. Fighters are making their way to the octagon as we speak, and we're all extremely excited to see what these 15 fights are going to be bringing you right here at the O2 Arena. Give me one quickly for people watching at home. Which is the one? You can't have main event, you can't have co-main event, you've got to pick a different fight. Which one are you thinking?
Don't miss Danny Roberts. I've known him a long time. He always brings it. He's always entertaining. Win, lose or draw, he bags those bonus checks. That for me is going to be the smoker on these prelims.
Okay, what are you thinking, Caroline?
It's a good choice, but I'm going to go for Davy Grant. Dangerous Davy Grant. We haven't seen him fight in the UK for what, about 4 years? Something.
2016 Davy Grant.
Like
Danny Roberts hasn't been here since 2019.
Well, there you go. And he, of course, was the runner-up on Tough 18, the Ultimate Fighter, and he's just such an exciting fight.
Listen, There's so much excitement as well. I'll tell you what, I had different ones throughout the course of the week, but just spending a little bit of time around Shauna Bannon, she is a bundle of energy. Her confidence is so infectious. I'm really excited to see her debut, and that's going to be the second fight of the night. She's going to be up very, very shortly in the next half an hour or so. That is something I'm really looking forward to, because her amateur pedigree and the things that she's done across mixed martial arts and martial arts just in general has been sensational.
Yeah, and we've noted the fact that Spain are having a bit of a moment. Ireland, the second coming of Irish MMA, is on its way to the UFC. They're signing fighters left, right and centre, and Shauna is so talented. She's not got any nerves. She's not worried whatsoever about making this walk for the first time. She's a multi-time kickboxing world champion, and she's ready to put on a show.
And what's more, she's got Molly McCann, who she trains with as well. So Molly's been able to show her the ropes. And same with Tom Aspinall and Mick Parkin, his training partner, who's making his debut here tonight as well. So I think when you've got someone of that experience in your camp that's been here and done it multiple times and show you the ropes, I think it puts you in good stead. And Shauna just doesn't look like someone making her debut. She seems so at home here.
That kind of works as well for Jai Herbert. He's been promoted obviously onto the main card. In his corner is the current UFC welterweight world champion.
And Jai's in sensational form right now. I know his win, losses and draw column wouldn't suggest that. 2 wins, 1 draw and a loss in his last 4 fights, but the performances in those 4 fights, he was really unlucky to get a draw here back in March. That was probably not the greatest decision by the referee to penalise a point from him. Even the fight that he lost, he head kicked Ilia Tybura, and that would have stopped a mortal man, but Tybura got up, turned the fight around, but he was sensational in that first round. So I think Jai's in a good place right now, and he deserves to be on the main card.
Listen, there's some sensational matchups. We're all extremely excited to get stuck into them, so let's get into the first fight. That's what you're waiting for, aren't you? The fighters are near enough ready.
Gentlemen, we are live from the O2 Arena in London, England, for UFC Fight Night. Aspinall versus Tybura. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC flyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 16 wins, 5 losses. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 125 pounds. Fighting out of Valencia, Spain, Daniel Barez. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 14 wins, 3 losses. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 126 pounds. Fighting out of San Jose, Bahia, Brazil, Jafel Filho. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Mark Goddard.
The Octagon steward for our opening bout is Mark Goddard. Thank you very much, Jenny. Back at you. All right, flyweights on deck to open up our 15-strong card from London's famous O2 Arena.
Nolan.
Serious look there
Next one on
from
there.
Jafel, Filho.
A little bit on that top, yeah. See that metal bar.
Just a few adjustments to be made to the Octagon. Always across it. It's Mark Goddard. Touch him up. Straight to action, Paul.
Right to it. For Barez, obviously things didn't go his way on the contender, but you look at his record and what he did in that time between then and now. It's so impressive with the finishes that this kid put together.
Yeah.
And the power that he has, Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, one of his most recent fights, he plants his feet, he lets those hands go. 1-2 left hook, he knocked his opponent out cold.
A lot of the guys from the Spanish scene thought that Barez would have been here earlier. It's a long time coming. He's friends with Joel Alvarez, who we'll see later tonight. So a lot of people happy for him. Very much enjoying his moment here. Brought his whole family out. Tell you what's not enjoying the moment. That's Filho's lead leg.
That was a big shot.
That's 3, John, 2 right in a row that he landed on that calf. And then he pump faked it a bit and came up the middle.
Filho swinging wild with those shots, chipping away with the calf kicks of his own. He's a very, very good wrestler and takedown artist, is Filho. So right now the opponent's kind of struggling, surprising to me because Barez is on fire.
He hurt him.
That's a great body shot.
I love it. Waves him up.
Very smart.
Well, his ribcage might well be contracting at the moment.
Just so smart for Barez. You're having so much success on the feet. Oh, what a body shot.
That could be enough.
Mark Goddard is right on. Listen, if you're having success in kickboxing, let him back up, right? This is the way to do it.
Ooh. Filho comes out swinging.
Filho's firing back.
He needs to. He's got to get respect.
But Barez is on fire here, growing in confidence. Beautiful sprawl.
He's got to be careful, though.
To the body again.
What is it about these Spanish fighters and their left rip to the body?
I love it.
And that Ilia Topuria.
And he uses that right hand to get that angle off, right? He throws that to twist the hips, and as he comes back, instead of coming upstairs all the time with the left hook upstairs, he goes to that liver.
Filho's doing some very good work here.
Nice work. He's trying to get it back.
Rip into the body himself.
Nice. Got that left hook through.
You know, maybe Barez came out a bit hot. UFC debut. You know, very, very excited to be here. Emptied the tank a little bit.
Oh, my God.
He checked the chin of Filho there. Filho once again wrestling up against the fence.
Oh, man. Filho is not backing down from this at all.
Crazy combination. Leading to the body as well.
I didn't like how he hit that elbow, though, with that right hand. I heard those knuckles bounce right off his elbow. Got to be careful you don't break the hand.
Maybe these guys can just chill a moment now, you know, because this has been a wild pace.
Good timing, you think, Michael, on that takedown for Filho?
Oh, very good, yeah. Working to the back here. Barez got to be careful.
We saw him shred the leg of Mohamed Mokaev. I mean, Mokaev stone-faced through it, but he's been left injured as a result of that contest. Filho wasn't the winner on the night, but he made a very good account of himself.
Well, he's passing guard here. Some basic mistakes being made on the side of Barez there. Filho went straight through that guard.
And, you know, this really speaks to the conditioning of Filho, because he was hurt to the body, bad.
Setting up an arm.
And now look at him here, slowing the fight down.
Oh, yeah, he's got it.
He's got the arm triangle.
And there it is. I mean, that is tight.
And what a comeback! He gets his first win in the UFC. Jafel Filho. What a way to start the night. What a way to kick off your UFC win column.
And his cornerman is going crazy right now, and I'm not surprised. I mean, that was an incredible fight from start to finish. Jam-packed action. I mean, come on, take a bow. What a way to start the night. But here is Barez coming on strong, going to the body, then to the head. Filho, good chin on him, but still feeling the pressure. Rips to the body again. That one puts him down. That's a body kick, once again, targeting the same area. Barez got a little excited. I think he sensed the finish, but here's where it all changed. He gets the takedown, passes guard. See it here, goes to half guard. In a moment, steps through to mount. He's locking up the head and arm choke already. And now here it is. This is the finish. Amazing performance.
Corner going absolutely nuts. So, The Ultimate Fighter, featuring Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler as coaches, is deep into the season. You can catch it every Tuesday on ESPN and ESPN Plus at 10 Eastern Time. And if you missed episodes 1 through 8, check them out on ESPN Plus. All right, let's make this one official. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Goddard's called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 34 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by submission due to an arm triangle, Jafel Filho.
I'm here with the winner, Jafel Filho. Jafel, you can speak to Bruce after. Okay. Jafel, congratulations, incredible performance. It looked like you were very hurt though from the body shots.
Uma incrível performance, parabéns, mas pareceu que você se machucou ali com os golpes no corpo.
Eu, felizmente, acabei sentindo um golpe ali, mas voltei com garra. O meu mestre mandou começar a caminhar para frente. Eu sei que ele é um cara muito duro, um cara muito bom, mas eu tenho uma mão mais dura.
Yeah, unfortunately, I felt those shots, but I came through. My master was telling me to keep moving forward, and I got heavy hands, and I was able to do that and finish the fight.
You showed back in March that you're an incredible wrestler with great grappling. I was surprised you never went for a takedown earlier.
Você mostrou em março que você é um grande wrestler, um grande grappler. Ele ficou surpreso que você não tentou botar a luta para baixo mais cedo.
É isso, eu sou um atleta completo, eu venho da equipe Jacaretim, Thai Combat, Explosão Mamute, Pedro Moraes lá, e tem me aperfeiçoado o mestre Dedé, que é um pai para mim, família de Nova União, É nóis. E é isso. Esse jiu-jitsu é da Jacaretinha, que vem lá de um bom tempo, muito tempo atrás. E a Nova União, que sempre vem me dando esse suporte incrível. Tô pronto para qualquer um.
I'm a complete MMA fighter now. I have a jiu-jitsu background from Jacare team, and now I'm a Nova União. They're just, sharpening my skills and making me a completer fighter.
Well, that was a sensational way to start the evening. Congratulations on an incredible performance. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Jafel, Filho.
Tamo junto, família. Jesus é o caminho, a verdade e a vida.
Wow, what a way to start UFC London. Tremendous comeback victory from Jafel Filho. We'll give you a little review on that in a moment or two. And coming up next is the UFC debut of Shauna Bannon. Welcome back to UFC London on TNT Sports. What an absolute firecracker we had first up with Jafel Filho. Unbelievable comeback victory in the first round against Daniel Barez. And now we head to the women's strawweight division. Bruna Brasil, as you can see, is just getting her final instructions of coaches before she steps foot into the octagon. And in a moment or two, it will be the UFC debut of Shauna Bannon. Without any further ado, I will hand back to our illustrious commentary team of John Gunn, Paul Felder, and the Hall of Famer Michael Bisping.
The matchup against Bruna Brasil, as you said, from Shauna Bannon, as you said, two very similar styles. I think they're both going to fight very long, which suits Bruna. She likes to keep the fight long. She's got beautiful knees, tight knees in the clinch, long range attacks, head kicks, of course, like we saw on the contender, and long straight shots. Should be a fun matchup for all the fans that are here so far.
Well, that's a superstar smile if ever I've seen one. Another fighter the Irish fans are already really behind. I have been tagged in so much media associated with Shauna Bannon. The Irish fans are so excited about her debut. Michael, she is very heavily credentialed in kickboxing. She's then turned it over to MMA. She was inspired by Ash Daly, Paul, who was the first Irish woman back in 2015 to make this walk. And we see Paddy Houlihan in her corner as well. The next wave is coming through.
Absolutely. And, when we spoke to her earlier this week, too, in the fighter meetings, you talked about how much grappling and jiu-jitsu and wrestling you're doing. She said that that's her favorite part, right? When you first get into this sport with such a kickboxing credentialed background, a lot of times, you know, it's kind of it's tiresome. It's annoying to go and do that much grappling, but you have to embrace it. It seems like that's exactly what she's done. She's embraced that grind of the wrestling and MMA, and she talked about how this is going to be a great match because of the styles that both these girls bring. There's going to be a lot of kickboxing. It's going to be a fight, but she works really well with that side kick and that traditional martial arts kickboxing style, which you see a lot from these really good European fighters and people over here in the UK. They use that side kick better than a lot of other fighters. So I'm very interested to see how she's going to use that to fight at her range and use that, John, to then set up her punches and potentially takedowns, Michael.
And I tell you what, this lady has got star power written all over her, and she is oozing confidence this week. I mean, you would think that she's fought in the UFC for the last 5 years. She's not nervous one little bit. She's a lifelong martial artist. Started at 3 years old. First competition at 4 years old. And then when you look at the accolades and the tournaments that she's won all over the world, it's no wonder that she's walking in with a big smile on her face, because she felt like this day was destined to come. And of course, here it is.
All right, let's put these straw weights side by side. Very similar across the board, only an inch separates the ladies in height, and the same again for reach. To make the introductions, here's Bruce.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC strawweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding professional record, 8 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 115 pounds, fighting out of the glorious Sao Brazil, Bruna. And now introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, an undefeated mixed martial artist holding a perfect professional record, 5 wins, no losses. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 115 pounds, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, Shauna Bannon. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Dan Movahedi.
Dan Movahedi will officiate this contest. Maximum 3 5-minute rounds of action. Bruna, Brasil, come a long way to be here in London. Facing off against the Dubliner, Shauna Bannon, making her UFC debut. Oh, they went for a touch, straight to the low kick for Bannon. Brasil said that she's analysed Bannon's game. She sees weaknesses in close combats and grappling, aims to take advantage of that tonight. Out of that, well, both of them, Paul, in very kind of traditional, orthodox, bouncy, taekwondo type stances.
Yeah, and right off the bat, both going after each other's calf, lower leg. And we're going to see a lot of kicks from these two, Mike.
Yeah, of course. A nice connection there from Brasil. Oh, nice front kick, but a little slip.
Shauna Bannon, 21 World Cup titles in kickboxing, over 25 national titles as well. More importantly for me, IMAF World Champion. So she has taken the hard route to get here through the amateur ranks.
Brasil loaded up on that one there. Often you see Shauna, she'll lead with the left kick, land that, then come 1, 2, 3 with the hands. I'd like to see the hands a little higher, if I'm honest.
And you talked about it on the walks too for Bruna Brasil, Michael. That was her problem in her last fight. She held them dangerously the whole time. She paid for it.
She just landed a big right hand there. Bannon felt that one.
I felt like Bannon was good when she was going forward, but on her back foot.
Oh, left hook got through too.
If you put her under pressure, she doesn't have as many answers.
Brazil's landing some calculated shots. There was a nice pivot check hook there. Good timing tonight so far.
Well, she knows Bannon's got to try to close that distance, rush forward with these traditional martial arts style kicks, and she's looking to just sit back. Oh, and she's loading up on that right hand.
Loading up big time. Telegraphing a little.
Michael was speaking about Bannon starting martial arts early. It is the family business. Her father owns a martial arts gym. Sister is a kickboxing Olympian.
And that's so valuable because the amount of time you're in one-on-one competition from an early age, you get used to this realm. You get used to it just being you and your opponent. Brazil's footwork is beautiful right now. And yeah, so she's very comfortable in a one-on-one situation. However, First time in the UFC, you step up. So far, it's a good start for Bruna Brasil.
Yeah, really good start. I just think she's so good with that front kick to the body. And she's got a really powerful right hand. If she wants to land it without loading up on it so much more, I'd like to see her skip in, land some front kicks to the body, and then fake them. Similar to how she set up the head kick. Nice pressure here from Bannon.
More educated movement from what we've seen of Brazil as well, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially going backwards.
The footwork, the way Michael talked about it, how she's stepping back, sliding out of the way, and angling off, more importantly. We see a lot of fighters, oftentimes, they get in trouble, similar to how she got in trouble a little bit there against the fence. You can't back straight up. If you're going to back up and try to avoid your opponent, you need to set up angles, step off to the left or the right so you can land your own strike as they come forward.
And we see here Brazil's looking for the power shots. You see the way the feet are planted, she's trying to time it, one shot at a time.
Yeah, that bounce has disappeared, hasn't it?
And for Bannon, how she used that lead leg, that could be a weapon to set up right there. That's how she's got to try to sneak in her boxing. We talked about it earlier. If you're going to have that bouncy, almost karate, traditional style, that's great because you have such a strong lead leg. You have to be ready for what's coming back at you like that.
A big right hand by Brazil.
And the thing is, Brazil last time, I mean, listen, it was a pretty epic knockout which she received, which she suffered from. You're going to learn a lot because you're going to go away. I've been there. When I got knocked out cold against Dan Henderson, you got to make some changes. You don't enjoy that. You don't want to be embarrassed in front of the entire world. So you look at the tape, you see what you did wrong, you make changes, and you come back better. And so far, she's looking fantastic.
She has a deadly head kick.
Yeah, and that was a really good read there from Brazil. You see how she followed up at that left kick. She's starting to get reads of where Bannon is going to go when she moves forward. More footwork. Brazil seeming really calculated, still breathing through her nose, barely opening her mouth. She's at a pace that she seemingly can comfortably keep for the duration of this fight.
Well, it's like I said on the walk, this kind of fight suits Brazil. Two ladies, pardon me, at range, and kind of a kickboxing match.
Under 30 seconds left in this opening round. Apologies, Michael.
No, you're quite all right. Neither lady thought about a takedown at all yet. Nice right hand, finding the mark once again for Brazil. That lead leg, Brazil's going to watch that. That's a nice push kick for Bannon.
Yeah, and Brazil.
We don't often see that in the UFC, do we? That whole kind of Olympic style where you off that back foot.
Here we go, take a little seat here. So that's the first round down, yeah? So we need to set up our hands a little bit more. You're trying to hit her with the 4 shots. Let's step in with them. Pop, pop, pop. And then she's there, yeah? So our chin is down and our hands are up on the way back out, yeah? Find the centre, but you need to be stepping in with the shots and then landing your shot. Don't forget about the body kicks on the fakes as well on the opposite stance. Yeah, Collie?
Beleza, os melhores golpes foram seus.
The best strikes were yours. You took her game out. If you kick down, you got to kick her head. Put her against the cage. You're a monster.
Quando ela errou chute, ela volta o pé, chuta a perna dela.
When she makes a mistake, kick her legs.
Coming up next on the main card, England's own Tom Aspinall resumes his quest for a title shot against Polish powerhouse Marcin Tybura. It's part of your action-packed main card next on ESPN+. Dean Thomas is in the house. Coach Dean, what you got for us?
You know, Bruna did a really good job of evading the strikes of Bannon when she rushed in with her hands. Now I think she needs to sit down a little bit and counter her because Bannon's leaving her chin up as she rushes in with her hands. So if she just sits down on them punches, Bannon's going to run right into a shot.
And that's a great point by Dean. And also the thing is, you know, I think we've seen Bannon's almost point fighting. And we're trying to knock our opponents out. We see Brazil really digging in, trying to land power shots. And Bannon, again, she's committing to the shots, but they're not the most deadly, powerful shots, if that makes sense, Paul.
Absolutely. And I think that's fine with that lead leg, right? That's a weapon to set things up. And Patty said to her in between rounds, we've got to try to get involved more with the hands, with the boxing. That front kick, that intelligent lead side kick is a very good weapon for you to be able to close the distance and counter your opponents who are trying to rush you. But you can't just throw it out there and then not follow up, because you leave yourself very vulnerable for counter strikes.
And this, have a tie-up.
This is a good idea for Bannon. You know, she has got a solid ground game. I've seen lots of her fights. Does great on the ground, understands it all. Let's see what she can do here.
Very much a 50-50 position right now. No real battle for head position. Nice tripping coming from Brasil. Bannon endorsed by former double champ Conor McGregor leading up to this one, which does work. Obviously the big association with SBG Ireland. Paddy Houlihan was on the mats with Conor for many years, obviously under the tutelage of John Kavanagh. Wonderful
nice
to
knees.
see the students of the guys that have fought in the octagon coming through and entertaining us as well. It's come full circle.
She's got to settle in here, right? She's looking for these trips. This could open up knees for Bannon as well. Look for elbows up here in the clinch, but she's got bad. She's getting the head positions, right? She's got to try to get that back and turn Brasil back into the defense if she wants to land some significant strikes in this position.
Progressive position, ladies.
Potential takedown options here for Brasil as well.
Brasil was taken down a few times in her UFC debut.
Referee's close to breaking this up, though, I believe. If something doesn't happen, she's close there, though.
Progressive position, ladies.
Yeah, sometimes these refs help the judges out, because when you get a stalemate like this, like how the judge is supposed to score a lot of this stuff, so they will try and progress things.
I mean, Brazil's trying. Bannon's defending well. Pommel's in there, turns around.
And that's really what needs to happen here. They need to fight more for double underhooks, drop down level, look for a single leg, look for a double leg. And again, the head position, but it doesn't matter now because they're separated.
Step back.
Okay, referee seen enough.
Both ladies loading up.
Brasil much better with his counter work.
The jab could help both these women, I think, right now set up their power hands.
UFC Collectibles is the home of official UFC memorabilia, and if you'd like to see your name in the octagon at UFC 292, scan the QR code and become a piece of UFC history.
Bannon showing that front roundhouse kick, gets up there, no telegraph, same with the side kick. If she can land, get her head off the angle, land that right hand, could work out for her, but Brasil just staying right there in front of her, not really feeling these kicks to the body at all that Bannon is landing.
Well, the push kicks don't really hurt too much. You know that, Paul. They look good. They maintain separation. They can push you back. Very rarely do they wind you. You've got to be timed perfectly as you're breathing in. Brasil very composed. Both ladies swinging a bit there. Bannon getting a little wild. That was nice. Jumping, spinning back kick by Brasil.
Oh, that's
spinning back fist.
Oh,
that's nice.
Good timing.
Perfectly.
Let's see her do something with it, though. She's only got 30 seconds to work. Judges are looking for progression, damage, submission attempts.
Damage is obviously the #1 criteria, but this puts her firmly in the driver's seat. 20 seconds, though. It's going to make something happen.
Good timing on that takedown, as well as just, you want to get something that's definitive at the end of the round like that. If she can land some just like that, that's all you got to do to really put it in the judge's eyes. I got the takedown, I landed some elbows, and I was in control for most of the time on the feet.
Let's get here. Oi, Sean. Take a drink.
You have to be careful going backwards. Don't let your hands come away from your head, yeah? Okay. And you can circle left or right. You don't have to go back in that straight line, yeah? Keep your hands tight when you do it.
Let's start looking for their shots, yeah?
Yeah.
Robbing the stance, faking her towards the fence and landing the body kick, yeah? Okay. When she comes forward, come back with your hands up and land your body kick. Right hand roll, land your body kick. Yeah?
Esse round é seu.
This is your round.
Bora.
Ela vai querer na vontade ela não ganha.
2.
Guys, Tuesday, it's a new episode of UFC Roundup. Join myself and Michael Chiesa as we take on tonight's card. Plus, we look forward to UFC 291, UFC Roundup Tuesday. Guys, Michael Chiesa is fighting as well as doing Roundup, 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Back to the fight, John.
Jeez, can you not do it so well?
Come on.
No, I'm trying to take your job too. I want to double up on my work.
On, let's go.
Gee whiz.
Now, I will say this. I noticed the look on the face of Shannon. A bit of concern now. She was very confident at the start of round 1. Looked so happy to be there. Round 2 was still there. In between rounds, they're starting to look a little concerned, like, you know, if something doesn't change, she
not
might
going my way,
experience her first loss.
Yep.
Well, online, the consensus is she's down 2.
Yeah. Oh, nice right by Brazil.
Coach Conor McGregor, 1 apiece. Catch the Ultimate Fighter series. Oh, very entertaining one.
That was a good connection by Brazil. Sorry, pardon me, Bannon there. All the bees.
Oh, that's
nice axe kick.
But not enough pep on it though, guys. Is that what you're kind of alluding to off that front leg?
Yes, but even more importantly, it's not the front leg oftentimes is used to set things up or knock your opponent off balance, which she's doing well. But it's that right there. I like that. Coming back with the jab. Maybe throw the front leg, then the jab, then the right hand, then look for takedowns and things like that. And I feel that both of the women could afford to do a bit more of that. We saw Bruna switch things up at the end of that round when she got that takedown, and that worked so successfully because they're both leaping in, using front leg techniques a lot, and she knew that Bannon would be doing something like that. So she charged, Bannon's hands come up, she looks for an engagement, and she flipped the script and she took her down.
Both these women have been encouraged into mixed martial arts from absolute greats in their respective countries. Coming back from Brazil, she loved the success of Anderson Silva and also Ronda Rousey from the States, obviously. That made her turn her attention from kickboxing to MMA.
But see how now the jab is being more effective? Look at that.
Oh, yeah,
now she's using the inside kick as well and mixing things up.
So, exactly. I don't want to be too critical, but all these, you know, the side kicks, the axe kicks, the fancy stuff, it's all well and good, but you also need the fundamentals. You need the jabs, you need the 1-2s, you need the stuff, the basics that they teach on day 1, because they are fundamentals and they are absolutely necessary. And now she's abandoned some of the flashier stuff. She's having a little more success.
And, you know, it's a UFC debut. We see this time and time again. There's a lot of pressure on these fighters to come in here and put on a show. You want to put your best foot forward. You want to show your best techniques. But now it seems this round is where we're seeing, I think, what Bannon is more capable of doing inside of the octagon. And for Brazil, she's got to start. She's kind of watching too much right now. She's seeing all those techniques. She's not getting hurt by them necessarily, but they're landing. They're scoring points. She's got to get some respect back in this round 3.
The output is not there for Brazil in round 3.
Oh,
that was a good shot.
Slipper, that rocker.
Bit of both.
Nice little blitz there from Bannon.
Either way, it's got Bannon confident here. This says a lot to me for Brazil. I think that did hurt her then if she immediately was looking to clinch.
Left swing or in swing? In swing, in swing. Maybe think about the knees forward. Yes. Knee up, and then go with it.
Once again, a 50-50 position up against the fence. Brazil looking for that head position to start framing.
Now she goes back to it, John. This is what's good. This is what's going to open up those knees, forcing the head of your opponent up and away. What's that naturally going to do? If your head's looking up, it's going to open up and expose your body more. If your body's exposed, you can land knees. And more importantly, if you're looking for a takedown, it's going to make it easier for you to drop down, look for those single legs, look for trips, look for a double leg.
And the reality is Brazil's going to be a little busier because, all right, maybe she's ahead on the scorecards, but they're close rounds. It's not a given. It's not guaranteed. You know, 55 seconds left. Still a lot of time to work.
100%, Michael. I think for both of these women right now, one of them is going to try to have to make, you've got to make a statement here if you want to get the judges' decision.
45 seconds left to do so.
And this is going to be frustrating for Bannon. You know she doesn't want to be here in this clinch at this moment at the end of the third.
And the crowd don't want her there either. Oh, there it is, nice takedown.
30 seconds to work. Let's see what Brazil can do.
And that's important, John. She's got to work. The takedown's great. That's big.
Is that mount? I can't see.
I can't see either from that angle.
Looks like it.
Definitely three-quarter mount.
It's almost there. She's almost, the shin was stuck there. Here's some damage.
Now, though, I mean, if this is a close round, this could steal the round and potentially the fight for Brazil.
Last few seconds.
Ooh, big elbow.
Armbar, potential armbar. Not a lot of time though.
Yeah, just sit that one out. All right, so we'll be back with the official decision after the break.
Shauna Bannon on UFC debut. Bruna Brasil there. She's giving a wink to the camera, feeling incredibly confident. I think the first round, absolutely, Nick, she did take that first round, but the next two were relatively close.
Yeah, I thought Brazil was absolutely outstanding in round number one, as you said. I don't think that was close at all. If anything, it was edging towards the 10-8 round. But Shauna definitely came back into it in two, and certainly in three. I thought she might have just nicked three before the takedown at the end, which was disappointing.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Bruna, Brasil.
Disappointment for Shauna Bannon on UFC debut. Great performance from Bruna Brasil, who herself lost her UFC debut but got the victory. Up next, it's Chris, Duncan and Yanal Ashmouz. What a fight this is set to be in the lightweight division. Welcome back to the O2 Arena in London for UFC London. Disappointment a moment or two ago for Shauna Bannon, of course, losing a points decision against Bruna Brasil, who was absolutely fantastic in the first round. But up now, we have got, as I said at the start of the show, my low-key tip for fight of the night. Hopefully I'm not giving it the kiss of death, because Chris Duncan against the man, Caroline, Yanal Ashmouz, who silenced this crowd back in March.
Yeah, undefeated, and obviously for Chris Duncan, this is, you know, his second UFC fight now. He would have shaken off some of those nerves, but, you know, he said last time when he was walking out, he was staring at the floor to keep his focus, not looking up at the stands. I wonder if he'll embrace it a little bit more this time, but of course he does have a tough test ahead of him.
And this guy, Yanal Ashmouz, he was absolutely fantastic against Sam Patterson, Nick, earlier this year in March.
He was ferocious, you know, and that's the fear I've got for Chris Duncan in this fight. Chris Duncan likes to take one to land two. The problem with Ashmouz, as we can see there's not a pick on him. He carries a lot of power, one-punch knockout power, as Sam Patterson found out to his detriment back in March. That's my big fear. Don't blink with this one. And if it does go a couple of rounds, then maybe we get some more questions answered about Ashmouz and that gas tank.
It was just 75 seconds, wasn't it, last time? So definitely don't blink, Nick, you're right there.
He didn't mess about. Calling you through this fight, it'll be John Gooden, Michael Bisping and Paul Felder. So let's get down octagon side to hear from the boys.
Power this man possesses is scary, and Chris Duncan, he's the same way. I'm telling you, this will be a tear-up.
So there walks Chris. The problem, Duncan, with his squad, getting a reaction from the fans as well. He took the hard road to get here, had a little relationship with Dana White's Contender Series, went 1-1, but had the boss out of his seats and earned a contract to be here. Got a debut out of the way, notch one on the board as well. Always tough and durable, Michael. Thinks only a lucky punch can put him away tonight.
Yeah, look, listen, the first time on the Contender, he was up against Vyacheslav Borchev, an incredible kickboxer. Came back next time against Charlie Campbell. What a fight, what a performance, what a show of heart. I mean, he was taking so much damage and then bang, knocks him out cold. A beautiful shot. And then here at the O2, earlier this year against Omar Morales, showed a much more measured, well-rounded game, showed a lot of takedowns, calf kicks, showed that it's not just about violence and heart and taking a chin and having a brawl, showed that he can go out there, have a game plan, stick to it, and show off some real mixed martial arts skill. I'm very excited to see what he brings tonight.
I think that's a good point, Michael, the fact that he was able to show a game plan, to think on his feet, to think in the moment under a high-pressure situation, because he's going to need that tonight. Both these fighters have the ability, as they've shown in their fights, to mix things up if they want to look for takedowns. And Duncan was able to do that in that second round, where first round was close, not going his way. He was able to slow things down, get that control against Morales, get that round. In a fight that, you know, was going back and forth, was really hard to kind of judge. Those things matter in those types of fights. And for Duncan to think on his feet like that, to think, like, let me get some control time, let me do some damage from the ground, and it got him the decision.
Well, the exciting thing for Chris Duncan fans is he believes he's grown massively in the last 6 months over at American Top Team. We're excited about what these guys can bring to the octagon once again tonight as they make their second outing, both outings at the London O2 Arena as well. So Duncan, 2 years older at 30, also an inch tall, that will benefit a 3.5-inch reach advantage. With the official intros, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, an undefeated mixed martial artist holding a perfect professional record. 7 wins, no losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Fairfield, New Jersey, USA, by way of Kfar, Kama Israel, Yanal Red Fox Ashmouz. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a striker holding professional record, 10 wins, 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 156 pounds. Fighting out of Tullibody, Scotland, Chris the Problem Duncan. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Loic Pora.
Octagon official for this one, Loic Pora. Chris Duncan from Scotland. Second outing for him here at London's O2 Arena. Second outing also for Yanal Ashmouz. His debut couldn't have gone any better. If he can emulate that again tonight, well, boy, that would be something. They touch him up. Duncan is in the black. Ashmouz in a red. Ashmouz is a real athletic guy. He'll do like somersaults, land it 10 out of 10, gymnastic style.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the most explosive spinning back kicks to not land that I've ever seen. I mean, it was impressive.
Something for Duncan to think about for sure. He actually thinks that Ashmouz will just be too slow for him tonight. He did a lot of work with Grant Dawson, who's on a heck of a tear at the moment. Been playing Justin Gaethje for Dustin Poirier as well. I'm not sure if that sounds like fun.
No. Yeah, that's right. He was out at American Top Team. Just learned so much. But it's not just that. It gives you so much confidence training with some of the biggest names in the sport. You know, as you said, you know, Dustin Poirier, Grant Dawson. I mean, the wrestling of Grant Dawson is incredible. And that's a great person to train with against somebody like Ashmouz. That Ashmouz is not looking for wrestling here. He's looking for a knockout again, Paul.
Yeah, trying to figure it out early, right? See if you can find those shots to put your opponent on wobbly legs early in the fight, and then as the fight progresses, right, if things aren't looking like you're going to get that early knockout, then you start mixing in your takedowns. And just speaking of fighters who get to train with elite level guys who have already put in their time and rose to the top of the UFC, it's so crucial. I mean, I got the ability to do that with Donald Cerrone over the years, Frankie Edgar, Edson Barboza, and all those guys. And man, when you're in there with those guys and you're preparing for a fight yourself, even if you've got to mimic somebody else, you gain so much knowledge, and you just get beat up a little bit. And you want to get beat up in the gym. You want to have those bad days so that when you get in here,
you have a good day.
There's nothing that you haven't seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on the other side, Ashmouz representing the K Dojo out of New Jersey. Coach Murat Keshtov has turned out a number of UFC fighters. In fact, it was the first place that Habib Nurmagomedov went to when he came over to the States. So high pedigree coming back the other way as well.
Yeah, and his coach Murat, he said the moment he met Ashmouz, he knew he had somebody special on his hands.
Little accidental clash of heads happened.
Oh, that's a nice head kick attempt. Blocked by Ashmouz, but
still hurts.
The impact gets through. And Ashmouz is starting to swing a little wild here as well.
Yeah, Duncan seeing these things coming at the moment, countering very nice.
Ashmouz yet to experience defeats in professional mixed martial arts.
Good long jab there from Duncan. That's going to set up his power shots. It's going to help him see what Ashmouz is throwing at him.
Another interesting point that Duncan made was that he hadn't fought in front of fans for about 3 or 4 years. So his UFC debut here at the O2 was something that obviously kind of had its impact, but that's out the way now, and we can see he's looking very relaxed and getting down to business.
Fighting at the Apex, it's fantastic, right? The Apex was so important for the UFC, but to go from that to then fighting at the O2 Arena in front of a sold-out crowd, it's a bit of a step up in terms of adrenaline, shall we say.
Yeah,
oh, that's nice.
Nice shot.
Really nice work there by Duncan.
And he's doing a great job of throwing punches at different angles. He's using uppercuts, long jabs. He's attacking the leg with his kicks. He's keeping Ashmouz guessing, doesn't know what he's throwing. And on the other side, Ashmouz is just trying to load up right now. We know he's explosive. We know he's powerful. But you've got to put the basics. We talked about it in the last fight. That putting the jab out there first, using some front kicks or inside leg kicks to set up your big shots to disguise them is important.
Yeah, I think last time out, getting the knockout in such a sensational way, he's hunting for that again.
You can fall in love with it, right?
Of course you can. You want that feeling. You want to silence the crowd or make the crowd explode. And he's kind of looking for that one big home run shot.
That was a big victory for Duncan.
Oh, yeah. Here comes Duncan with a minute left.
Nice level change.
Good. He's in a flow state tonight, is Chris Duncan.
Momentum is building on the side of Chris Duncan.
Oh, there's that big right hand, though.
Gotta be
good Lord. Here it comes again.
The head a bit, too, and that'll hurt you. Good leg kick there from Ashmouz, but he's just got to get to those basics. Use the jab, set that leg kick up.
As these guys get deeper into their careers, you know, scoring points on the judges' scorecards is so important. You got to get a tally going, and we can see that Ashmouz has only tried about 22 strikes so far. Chris Duncan's over double that to this point. They're unofficial, however.
Yeah.
Just to kind of let you.
Flipped him with that knee.
There's a nice takedown. Chris Duncan, just to solidify the round, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Mate, that's how we fight. You see that knee? Every time. Mate, that hurt him. Another 10 seconds, we would have had him out of there.
Bows, Need to open up, play your game. When he throws low kicks, I want you to check, counter with the right cross, left hook, like we work. Okay? Fake the takedown. خد جوا ده هتقول جاجة. مستو زغ بصف باوا.
يخرج صدرك سكولو رمزي ده
Aha. Of. Moim głupszy sobie.
يخرج يمشتوك وينو يخرج صدرك.
يلا.
Welcome back to London. UFC Fight Night is presented by New Amsterdam Vodka. Round number 2 ahead. Keep an eye out for the left forearm stroke wrist of Ashmouz. He was rubbing it in the corner. He was wincing as well. Kind of quite literally showed his hand.
Yeah.
To Duncan as. So let's see what happened there.
Certainly seemed to be giving him problems. Might have been from blocking that head kick that we talked about earlier.
He's in southpaw as well now, Michael.
Mike, we talked about it as soon as it landed, how that got blocked, but it had such an impact that's I mean, you see time and time again that is a way that a fighter will break his arm, just the way he's holding his wrist.
Chuck Liddell versus Rich Franklin, classic example. But as you say, we've seen it many times.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's a nice leg kick from Chris Duncan. He's looking good tonight.
He's on tonight.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, his corner know it as well.
Well, he's putting in the work. He's making the sacrifices. He's traveling to the other side of the world. He's finding the best training partners he can. He's extremely disciplined. I mean, he wants to provide the best life for his family.
Yeah.
And this is the way that he does that. And you can see, I mean, from March, he's looking even better. Every time we see him, Chris Duncan has improved.
And he gave up a career as a shepherd. He was the fastest shearer in Scotland way back in the day. So he's got to make this count.
Ooh, beautiful knee. In his corner, in between rounds, they said that knee every time. He landed at the end of the first round. He's setting things up. He's using feints. He's faking his opponent out. And that's going to set up those sneaky shots, those knees up the middle.
Oh. It's the variety of shots from Duncan. He's mixing things up big time. Little look at the clock there from Duncan, I think.
That might be the kick that you saw on your screen from round 1. It definitely did damage. Chris Duncan looking a very imposing figure right now.
I'm not a doctor, okay? So I'm not going to say it's...
You're not
Michael,
a doctor.
Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
You've acted as a doctor, have you not?
And you know, I don't know if I've ever played a doctor.
No? Okay.
I don't even think I could play that I'm that intelligent. Do you know what I mean?
Well, if you can't, I definitely can't.
We're not playing doctors. Let's be honest with ourselves, Michael. Yeah, he has barely even thrown that left arm, I think, since it's been damaged.
Well, if you sit down in between rounds and the first thing you do is signify to your coach about your wrist, there's an issue. Yeah. You're not messing around. It's not training. You're not trying to go home early. You're here to fight. So definitely compromised.
Oof.
And as you said, he's not throwing it.
I don't think Duncan knows, though.
Ooh, still got a big right, though.
Because if Duncan knew, he would be throwing that head kick again. Oh, that knee.
Yeah, that knee's money.
Especially with an opponent who dips their head down. He throws big, powerful shots. He leans over. That's something I'll bet Duncan and his team saw in preparation for this fight.
Yeah, but Yanal has serious power. So whilst it, you know, there it is. What a beautiful kick that was.
So well positioned, and he's got his feet under him with these big techniques as well.
I mean, Duncan's, you know, he's having a good performance so far, but it's not locked in, it's not done. And with the power of Ashmouz, he has to stay laser focused.
He's adjusting. He's finding ways to land, more so now with the potentially injured arm than he was in the first, because I think it's settled him down. It's making him have to think more and calculate his shots, whereas early he was just looking for that big finish.
Duncan is not discriminating his targets either. Nice work to both the leg and body.
Oh, you saw he did not
try and block it with the left hand.
He barely got it up there.
Fair play to Ashmouz, because if that is severely compromised, potentially broken, fractured, he's pulling out a lot of tools with the other legs and limbs that he's got.
Got a sturdy beard as well, hasn't he? That's got to account for something.
It's protecting him right now.
I think that's your shade of beard, is it not, Paul?
Oh, yes.
And what a lovely shade it is.
It's a beautiful shade for all you gingers out there.
I've just got the mustache going at the moment. It's a strong mustache.
It's a beautiful mustache, Paul.
Anyway, Duncan's trying to power through the whiskers of Ashmouz, who is showing that right hand. We know it's deadly, but it's going to be hard to set it up right, Paul, if he hasn't got that left.
No, and you know, if Duncan can get a takedown, then it's going to really be difficult for Ashmouz to defend himself as well on the ground. He's only throwing the right hand.
Only throwing the right hand and kicks. But hey, that's what happens. That's the fight game. Flying the attempt,
there.
Slips.
Looks like we're going to see a third round. We'll be back after the break.
Okay? That's okay. That's okay. This is it. Hey, Yanal, look this way. Last round, you choose it 2 rounds down. You gotta put everything, you gotta finish this guy. You have to work combos. Do you understand? Combo. يجربهم سمقوا Sorry za khashhiyawa. Qabruwa.
Next Friday, catch the official UFC 291 weigh-in show. Join Dan Helly, Daniel Cormier, Dean Thomas and special guest Bilal Muhammad as they get you warmed up for Saturday's pay-per-view. It's live Friday morning at 10:50 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook and UFC Fight Pass. So just to let you guys in on a little action that happened in the Ashmouz, it was getting a little fiery there. Apparently the translation we've had is that his corner asked him to throw combinations and he said, I can't even make a fist. So they were going at one another, but he's come out for the third.
He can't defend himself.
I'll tell you what though, he's still swinging with that right hand and Chris Duncan fired right back.
Yeah, there's going to be no mercy from Chris Duncan here.
I mean, listen, Ashmouz, I'm impressed with what I see. I mean, listen, Chris Duncan's leading this fight for sure, but he's showing a lot of heart, clearly frustrated between rounds, screaming at his cornerman, what do you mean throw combinations? You know, I can't throw combinations, I can't even make a fist. But hey, you're still going to go out there and fight, so this man should be very proud of the performance he's putting on. But Chris Duncan is growing in momentum, looking for that finish, and it could be close.
Nothing right. Look for that uppercut.
That was close.
Yeah, you've got to give credit to Ashmouz for even staying in here right now, and the way he's fighting. But
got the unteachables right.
1-2 connects.
He doesn't even want to use his left hand to block punches right now. That's how bad it's bothering him.
Yeah, and the strike tally that we saw there, that's just letting you know when you've got a one-armed guy.
I still don't think, I can't tell if Duncan is aware at all of the situation.
You know what? I don't think it matters. He's having a field day out there. He's growing in confidence, throwing a lot of good shots, picking his shots, combinations, ripping to the body. Ashmouz still very dangerous though. Still swinging with crazy power.
Oh, there's a nice knee from Duncan. I saw a real wholesome piece of content as he turned up at his daughter's nursery after getting back from the States. The sacrifice that all you guys make to be away from your families for weeks on end to make this work.
Well, that's what you got to do, Joe. You know, sometimes if you haven't got it on your doorstep, you got to travel. You got to get on a plane.
Yeah, more often than not, right? It's not right there. Not in your hometown.
And American top team, just one of the very best places on planet Earth. I mean, the resources that they have there, but more importantly, that double jab right hand from Chris Duncan was beautiful.
Yeah, nice straight right there from Duncan.
I'm sure the American top team guys are seeing the investment in Chris Duncan as a fruitful one as well. It takes a little while to embed into a team, especially one as large as American top team.
Oh, good body kick there from Duncan. He's really mixing things up well tonight. Using his kicks. He's landed some elbows, leg kicks. Obviously the head kick that was blocked but potentially damaged or injured the arm of Ashmouz.
Oh man, that was a big knee. It's like I said on the walk. Compare this Chris Duncan to the one on them that we saw on the Contender. They're not the same person.
I'm actually extremely impressed with the movement and the defense of Ashmouz, who's got no ability to block with one arm.
Oh, listen, we have to give so much respect to Ashmouz. He's a one-armed fighter right now, and he's still hanging in there. He's eating shots. He's taking knees. He could be close to being finished.
He's pouring on now.
He feels it. He sees it.
The temperature's rising. Gas mark 5 now for Chris Duncan.
He has to know that he's got one arm because Ashmouz, it's evident. It's obvious.
John Gooden, Paul Felder, Michael Bisping, Dean Thomas in the O2 Arena in London, watching this fantastic lightweight showdown. So much heart from Ashmouz. Skill aplenty for Chris Duncan tonight.
Yeah, and just, again, chaining things together. Now getting takedowns, just leaving no question in the minds of the judges that he's in control here. And that's legal. His hands are not down, so Duncan able to land knees to the head here.
Probably can't weight bear on it. That's maybe one of the reasons.
No, exactly. Ashmouz can't put that arm down.
It's just been a very well-rounded performance from Chris Duncan. Showed a lot of skill, timing his shots well. I mean, those knees were beautiful. But again, we've got to give credit to Ashmouz.
Last 20 seconds. What's Chris Duncan got?
That was close.
That was real close.
Ashmouz, I feel like he's going to roll the dice.
He's still trying.
Yeah.
Still trying to finish this fight.
God bless him. What a place to be with such a debilitating injury. Last few seconds here. Chris Duncan knows it. Great performance by him. This one does go to the judges' scorecards. We will get those tallied up for you back in 30 seconds.
I'll tell you what, how good is elite level mixed martial arts? That is at its very best. What a brilliant performance from both men.
Just the bravery of Ashmouz, of course, was just phenomenal to stay in there. Clearly with a seriously debilitated arm injury, but take nothing away from Chris Duncan. Even with fully functioning both arms, Chris Duncan was on tonight. He looked phenomenal, Caroline.
Yeah, he looked absolutely fantastic, and I think that time away at APT in Florida, training with likes of Dustin Poirier, I mean, that's just going to set you up for this elite level competition. Of course, we're going to find out whether he's taken the O away from Ashmouz now.
I think he absolutely definitely has. That first round when he came out and he was in his flow state, he was absolutely sensational. And obviously, it is Chris Duncan that caused the injury. It's a fantastic display from Chris Duncan.
We go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges scored the contest 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Chris Duncan.
Fantastic performance. Deserved victory, and I've no doubt we'll be talking about that for a few weeks. Coming up next, it is Ketlen Vieira. She's taking on Pani Kianzad. We're going to be bringing you that next on TNT Sports.